Miss Molloy, thank you for joining me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just easing into this new kind of frame of life, as I'm sure you are being a year 5 teacher. So
Yeah.
you teach year 5, but then you've also kind of been drafted into cover bubbles of year 6. That's what they call it, right? They've been separated into bubbles, the kids.
Yeah, so our bubbles are no more than 15 children in each bubble. And the way that we've worked it at our school, we have grouped the children into Group A and Group B. We have Group A in on a Monday, Tuesday, and Group B in on a Thursday, Friday. And then on a Wednesday, the school's closed for a deep clean, apart from the key worker children, because obviously we've been catering for them through the entire lockdown.
So it's all very structured. You've got a great plan in place. But kind of on a personal level, as a teacher, as a parent, as a woman, what has been like getting back into the workplace after all of this virus and kind of such a tricky time? What has it been like getting back in?
I think initially it was I've been quite anxious to start off with and being quite worried about the whole thing, but actually going back in and being with the children is the easiest way to relax, because as a teacher that's where I'm the most comfortable with the children, and seeing their faces and chatting to them and teaching them is amazing, and that's why we do the job that we do.
And it also must be a lot, like, quite reassuring to know that all those structures are in place, that you're not overwhelmed. You've got these kids on this day, these kids on this day. In terms of logistics, what do the classrooms look like? How has it changed?
So in year 6 at the moment, we've got the children at individual tables. So we can take up to 15 in each room, but typically we've had between 10 and 11 in each room. The children have their own table, their own chair, they have their own stationery, which they don't pass between each other. So it feels kind of like an old school classroom, not so much group work and things like that.
And in terms of what I'm really interested in, break times, lunch times, play times, how is that something you kind of patrol?
So the whole school day, the whole timetable that we've been used to is completely gone out the window. Each bubble has their own break time, and we've got like a special box of play equipment for each bubble that only they use, and then it's cleaned at the end of every day. So that's just for them. Lunchtimes, where before children would all go down to the hall to eat their lunch together, they'd sit around big tables and be able to chat. That's obviously all changed as well. So children all eat in their classrooms with their teacher, and then those tables are cleaned down as well.
And how about the response from the kids? Because I did a really lovely chat with a year 6 student called Scarlett last week, and she told me just like a kind of child would, like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know why you're asking me. It's okay. Also, is that her best friends were in another bubble, and she was very, very upset about that. But otherwise, she didn't mind. What are the kids' reactions with you guys?
The kids are really enjoying being back. We've been doing kind of maths and English lessons in the morning and well-being sessions with them every day, focusing on mental health, because obviously it's been such a tricky time for them. They've been away from their teachers and their peers for so many weeks now. And in the afternoons, we've been doing more kind of foundation curriculum lessons, so science, history, geography. When I was in on Tuesday, we took them out doing leaf investigation, so they were taking photographs of different leaves and categorizing them. So they've been really enjoying their time.
And I mean, the kids are one thing, but of course there are lots of worried parents out there. From your experience, what has it been like? Have a lot of parents sent their kids back, or have maybe some of them decided to keep them at home? What's the kind of ratio between those two?
So at our school, we're on about, I think it's probably about 2/3 of parents have sent their children back, and 1/3 have chosen to keep their children at home.
You just got to do what's right for you, I guess. I know Scarlett, the little girl that I was speaking to last week, was talking about how her friend's mum's just had a child, so she had a new baby brother and couldn't go back in. So I guess there's lots of situations, but 2/3 is quite promising.
Yeah, I think that's probably about what it is. And we've been using Google Classroom as a school, and so even though in year 6 not all of the children are back in school, all of the children are still getting the same learning through Google Classroom,
which is really reassuring for the parents, I'm sure. And obviously this Google Classroom has to continue, because earlier this week, Boris has decided that he's not now going to send the rest of the years back. I was wondering, as a teacher and being on the front line and seeing all of this and getting into this new normal, do you think that was the right decision? Do you think you guys need to stay at the capacity you're at?
I think that's a really interesting question. I think for me personally, I can't wait to have my class back at school. You find that you miss them an awful lot. Teaching in front of a computer, although we've not been doing live lessons, I've been videoing lessons and reading to the children, and it just isn't the same. And so I'm desperate to have them back. I want, you know, the school to be filled with laughter and singing and children playing, but I also want it to be safe. And so I know that our senior leadership team are working on a plan at the moment to get more children back into school.
Oh, I'm sure they're desperate to come back as well. My last question, I mean, it's a little bit probably less relevant to you because you're almost kind of semi out of lockdown. But I ask everyone this, and to kind of find the silver lining in this whole situation, is there anything being in lockdown that you've appreciated more, like a lockdown love?
So I've been off, working from home with my husband, and our 3-year-old, his nursery's been closed. And so I think for me, it's been really lovely that we've been able to have our meals together every day, to be able to sit with him and eat with him and play with him, whereas he'd be at nursery. So that's been really nice. Although he is loving being back at nursery, so that's also good.
I guess it's a time for everything, isn't it? Too much of anything isn't a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Miss Molloy, thank you so much for speaking with me. It was great to chat to you. Best of luck for the rest of the school year.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.